water. Oh, by the way, you might want to know that by the time Fiji water gets to you, it is only slightly alkaline and has a positive ORP. It's not Fiji water anymore. Is bottled water any better than tap water? Given what it costs, it should be, but it's not. In fact, a significant percentage has more contaminants than are allowed in tap water. Most of it is purified municipal tap water that has been cleaned up through reverse osmosis, which not only removes chlorine and other contaminants, but strips the water of all minerals. Reverse osmosis also wastes 4 to 10 gallons of water for every gallon produced. In Japan, RO water is known as dead water. Nearly all bottled water we tested came out as acidic. Even spring water that should be alkaline came out acidic. Even worse is that all bottled water we tested had a highly positive ORP, or oxidation reduction potential. Water that has a negative electrical charge, like the natural ancestral waters, is best. Bottled water may be clean, but it does not have the life-giving properties of natural water. Finally, there's the cost factor. It's hard to believe, but if you consume the amount of water you should every day from bottled water, you'd spend over $2,000 per year. Over 15 years, the lifespan of the best water ionizer on the market. That adds up to a lot of money. If the water we used at home cost what even cheap bottled water cost, our monthly water bills would run $9,000. $15 billion per year is spent on bottled water in the U.S., and over $1 billion worth of plastic ends up as trash.
Is there a way to save the earth and save money at the same time? You know, spending $2 for a small 12-ounce bottle of water is, 5, 6, 7 times more expensive than fueling your car. Doesn't make sense, does it? Especially when you're buying water that is acidic. You're buying water that may be devoid of minerals. You're buying water that has a positive ORP that is damaging. Doesn't make sense, does it? Maybe there's a way to produce your own clean water. Well, it would be nice to have a glacier in our backyard, or it would be nice to have a fresh mountain spring that's just percolating out of an aquifer in the earth. Most people don't have that. But what we do know, interestingly enough, is in places where that does exist, one of the key components is this clean, natural-based water.
If you care about the earth and your pocketbook and are currently drinking purified bottled tap water, get a carbon filter for your faucet and use a safe, reusable water bottle. However, if you want to improve your health, drinking ionized alkaline Kangen water is a better choice. Like natural ancestral waters, it is microclustered, contains alkaline minerals, and has a negative ORP, making it an antioxidant, and it costs a little more than $1 a day for unlimited amounts. There's no doubt that the U.S. is experiencing a crisis in healthcare. We spend more on healthcare than any other country, but rank just 37th out of 191 in performance. For the first time in the last 200 years, U.S. life expectancy is expected to decline, not increase. You die earlier and spend more time disabled if you're in America than in most other advanced countries. According to the Centers for Disease Control, over 60 million people in the U.S. are obese. That's 34% of the population. 50 million people have high blood pressure. 13.5 million people have coronary heart disease, with 1.5 million suffering heart attacks every year. 16 million people have type 2 diabetes. 41 million are pre-diabetic. 95,000 people are diagnosed with colon cancer each year. The solution? A pill for every ill, and an ill for every pill. The pharmaceutical industry is a $680 billion giant, and our lifestyle keeps them in business. Eat, drink, and be merry, then call 911 for a surgeon. Fortunately, we are experiencing a paradigm shift, a sea change in how many people view their health, from treatment of symptoms to prevention and optimal wellness, from disease care to health care. Many experts in new medicine or new biology believe that dehydration and chronic acidosis are the underlying causes of many diseases. They believe we are chronically dehydrated on top of being overly acidic due to our modern diet and lifestyle. These two factors combined set the stage for the development of most, if not all, illness. Most people don't believe that dehydration is a problem because they drink fluids, coffee, tea, soda, etc. But chronic dehydration has no obvious symptoms. It's not like the man dying of thirst in the desert. And you can be chronically dehydrated even if you think you are consuming enough fluid. Adequate hydration is critical to how our body functions and heals itself. And water, pure water, is the natural way to stay hydrated.
What we need to understand is what is water and what is not water. We as a civilization, or as a modern civilization or modern culture, have begin to think of water as tea, as soda, as milk, as energy drinks, as coffee. It has water or liquid substance to it, but it is not water. Okay? Even what comes out of our tap and what is in the bottled water, while structurally may be the water molecule, once we understand how water exists in its natural state before modern times, we'll realize that even that is not necessarily the water that our body evolved to exist on. How can one determine if they're drinking enough water is the question. First thing is, if you're thirsty, you're way behind. Okay, that's a clear point. Our thirst mechanism doesn't kick in until we're already slightly dehydrated. So if we wait till we get thirsty, then we are already beginning to become dehydrated and might experience symptoms like not thinking quite as clearly, or beginning to feel fatigued, or muscles may cramp up, may even start to feel hungry. And a lot of times hunger is really a sign of thirst.
We are born 95% hydrated. As we grow up, we lose a little more water every year. When we reach middle age, we're about 70% water. In our 60s, maybe 60 to 65%. A steady decline until death when we are just 50% water. There are several signs of chronic dehydration that arise when the body enters survival mode and begins to preserve water for the most vital functions. There are 5 distinct conditions related to chronic dehydration where the body begins to ration water.